You're at a party, everyone's screaming at the TV, someone just scored or didn't score. You're not sure which. And honestly, you don't care. While your friends are debating statistics, jersey numbers, and who should be traded where, you're thinking about literally anything else. If this sounds like you, you're not broken. You're not boring. And you're definitely not alone. Today, we're diving into the psychology of people who don't obsess over sports. And before the comment section explodes, this isn't about hating sports or thinking you're superior. It's about understanding why some brains simply don't attach emotional significance to athletic competition. Let's get into it. Here's the thing most people don't realize. Sports fandom isn't actually about sports. It's about narrative. When someone's invested in a team, their brain has constructed an elaborate story. Underdog heroes, historic rivalries, generational legacies. Each game is a chapter in an epic saga they've been following for years, maybe decades. But your brain? It never bought into that story, and here's what's fascinating. Research on narrative transportation shows that emotional investment requires what psychologists call willing suspension of disbelief. Sports fans aren't just watching a game, they're participating in a shared mythology. You've probably experienced this with other things. A TV series, a book franchise, a video game lore. When you're invested in that story, you care deeply about what happens next. The difference? You never received or accepted the sports narrative. And without the story, it's just people running around with a ball. Which, let's be honest, objectively looks ridiculous when you strip away the narrative framework. This doesn't make you deficient. It makes you selective about which collective narratives you participate in. Let's talk about tribalism or teams. Sports are one of the last socially acceptable forms of intense tribal identity. You can wear your tribe's or team colors, chant your tribe's songs, and genuinely hate the opposing tribe and nobody questions it. For many people, this feels natural. Even good. It satisfies a deep evolutionary need for group belonging, but some brains are wired differently. If you're someone who doesn't obsess over sports, you might also notice you're resistant to other forms of arbitrary tribalism. You probably don't care much about school rivalries because they're just schools. Brand loyalty wars because they're just companies. Hometown pride just because you were born there. Research on personality psychology shows that people low in social identity complexity are less likely to derive self-esteem from group memberships. You're more likely to see yourself as an individual first and group member second. When someone says, "We won," about a team they don't play for, your brain short circuits. You didn't win anything. 22 strangers you've never met did a thing while you sat on a couch, and here's the uncomfortable truth sports fans don't like hearing. You're not wrong to think that way. You're just honest about the parasocial nature of the relationship. Here's a pattern I've noticed. People who don't care about sports often have brains that crave novelty and complexity. Think about what happens in a sports game. Yes, the details vary, but the structure? Completely predictable. 2 teams. One wins. The other loses. Repeat forever. If your brain is wired to seek novel information, complex problems, or creative challenges, sports can feel boring to you, not because you're judging others, but because your reward system doesn't activate for repetitive competition. You might be the person who'd rather learn a new skill than watch someone else perform theirs. Engage in a deep conversation than debate last night's game. Create something than consume someone else's. Studies on dopamine and novelty-seeking area show that some people's brains are literally wired to find reward in creation rather than competition. This is why you can sit through a 3-hour-long documentary about something obscure, but can't make it through 20 minutes of a championship game. It's not attention span. It's attention selectivity. Let's address the elephant in the room, the social cost. Not caring about sports in a sports-obsessed culture can be genuinely isolating. Especially for men, where sports literacy is often treated as a basic social competency, Monday morning office conversations, family gatherings during big games, dates where someone assumes you'll want to go to a sports bar. You've probably developed coping strategies, learning just enough to fake basic conversations, smiling and nodding while planning your grocery list, feeling like something's wrong with you because you can't make yourself care. Here's what I want you to understand. The problem isn't that you don't like sports. The problem is that we've built social structures that exclude people who don't share this particular interest. Imagine if society worked the same way about opera or chess or gardening. You'd rightfully think it was bizarre. The discomfort you feel isn't personal inadequacy. It's cultural homogeneity demanding conformity. Now here's the reframe nobody talks about. While everyone else is spending hundreds of hours per year watching sports, you're spending that time on literally anything else. That's not a value judgment, it's an observation. Time is finite. Every hour spent watching a game is an hour not spent on other pursuits. People who don't obsess over sports often have more diverse knowledge bases, develop wider ranges of skills, form connections based on shared values rather than shared teams, have more time for creative projects, learning, or rest. You're not missing out. You've just allocated your attention differently. And here's something beautiful. You can appreciate athletic achievement without emotional investment. You can respect the skill, the dedication, the physical skill, except needing your identity tied to the outcome. That's actually a more mature relationship with competition than many sports fanatics have. If you don't obsess over sports, you're not defective. You're not missing a chromosome. You're not even unusual. You're just quieter than the people who do care. Your brain simply didn't accept the invitation to this particular form of collective meaning-making. And that's okay. Find your people. The ones who get excited about the things you care about. Build community around shared interests that actually resonate with who you are. Because life's too short to pretend to care about things that don't matter to you just because they matter to other. If this resonated, you know what to do. And if it didn't, well, there's probably a game on somewhere.